object-oriented programming concepts and its principles. Computer is an electronic device that accepts instruction in a specific language. So it is very difficult to establish communication between the user and the computer if he or she is not aware of computer language. This is the reason why learning computer language is very essential for working on the computer. Types of computer languages we need to know first. So basically there are two types of languages for computer. One is the low level languages, another one is the high level languages. So in this low level languages, machine level language and assembly languages are there. For high level language, there are several languages are there like C, C++, those things. Now let's see about low level languages. The low level languages are the type of computer languages in which the computer recognizes the instruction without conversion into any other form. They are sort of cryptic languages which are not directly understood by the users. These type of languages were used in the early computers when only the experts were able to code the instruction. The low-level languages are further categorized into two types. One is the machine level language, another one is the assembly level language. So now it is the form of computer language in which instructions are coded in terms of binary digits, that means bits, in the form of zeros and one, you can say also. This form of binary instruction is also called the machine code or the object code, which only a computer can understand. You can also understand if you are very expert with the binary. Several rules are there to convert the thing to binary and the vice versa. The computer understands the machine code easily. That it does not need to know it does not need to be transformed to or converted into any other form. The only advantage of this language is that the program executes faster because the machine code is directly operated by the CPU, Central Processing Unit. But we had several limitations on machine level languages. Now let's see about this. The user needs to remember all the instruction codes. Second, the error detection and correction is very difficult. It is a machine dependent language, my dear, because it about only 0 and 1, and the user must be aware of the internal hardware structure of the computer for coding instruction, and so it is known as a machine dependent language also. Now let's talk about assembly level language, a language in which the instructions are coded in terms of mnemonics and operational codes. Someone also prefer to say operation codes, is known as assembly level language. The mnemonics are the a form of instructions, okay? So it is used for writing a program. So where the opcodes or the operation codes are the numeric codes for the instructions that are actually fed to the computer for instruction. So in your book you can find out a table is there with the mnemonic codes, description and opcodes, which is the operation codes, okay? So basically in assembly language you get the assembly level language, and it is going to the assembler who is doing the assembly, then it is changing to the machine code. So it is the flow of assembly level language. Now we have several advantage and disadvantage also like others. So let's talk about the advantages of assembly level language. The first point I want to mention, it is easier to write the instruction as compared to the machine level language. But don't think that it is easier than the high level language. We'll come into this portion later on. Now the second option or the advantage, the error detection and correction is also comparatively easier in this case. Third point, the code can easily be modified. Now let's see the limitations. It is also a machine dependent language. Yes, you have to know all the hardware, the setup instruction and other things. The second point, the user need to remember all the mnemonics. Yes, according to the machine and the hardware, the user or the programmer need to remember all the things, which is little bit tough. And the last point, a translator is required to convert the instruction into machine code. Yes, computer doesn't understand the assembly level language. It understands only machine level language. So whatever you are writing in assembly level language, also it need to be converted into the machine code. Okay. So now we will talk about high level language. So we have seen we had several disadvantages with this assembly language and machine level language. So to overcome the disadvantages of low level languages, the computer experts or the computer scientists, they had developed another category of languages. Guess what it is? It is the high level language, which are referred to HLL also. These languages allow the user to write the instruction in simple English sentence. It is also uses common English words and mathematical symbols. Thus, it makes the instructions easier to understand, easier to read. It is also user's native language. It allows the user to write the instruction even if he is not aware of the hardware architecture of the computer. It doesn't matter that you have to know whether you know the computer hardware or no, or the architectural process. It completely not required. Now the programming style and context is very easier to learn. So the I must say the learning curve is very smooth and very easy. The entire code focuses on the specific program to be created. So basic C or C++, Java, Python, all are the examples of high level languages. But like all the things, we had also advantages and disadvantages for high level languages. Advantages of high level language. It is a machine independent language. Yes, you does not need to remember or know the architecture of its underlying hardware. Second, the instruction can be written in English words. Third, it is easier to understand and develop the program logic. Fourth, the error detection and correction is much more easier. Now let's talk about the disadvantages of high level language. It requires a translator to convert the source code into machine code. Second, the machine code of high level instruction might be less efficient than the machine code generated from assembly level instruction. And one of the major disadvantages of high level language is that the machine cannot understand this language directly. So we need to convert the instruction written in high level language into their equivalent instructions in machine level language so that they can be operated upon by the CPU. The translator or the language processor used to perform above mentioned tasks as also referred to compiler and interpreters. So we will talk about this compiler and interpreter in our next point.